What's going on? I got this selfie stick that just sucks. Gets me out of a bind, but I need to figure out how to use my gimbal. It's sitting around here somewhere. I mess with it a little bit. It's so weird. And they say a gimbal is something you really have to get used to and how you turn your wrist. It's all weight distribution stuff. It's not going to work too well with the case that I have on my phone, so I think that's a big problem. So not really a big problem, it's just the pain in the butt is having to take the case off the phone every time I want to use it. So we'll figure that out. So it feels good to be sleeping back in my van again. I'm fixing to watch some TV and crash here in a little bit, but I'm just needing to run this battery down to make sure my power is fine and figure out anything else that might be going on. Hopefully not, because I know, it's when I turned my microwave on, it kind of undertowed the air conditioning. So you have to, most RVs you may not realize that depending on the size of your generator or inverter, you're going to have to turn the AC off to run the microwave or whatnot. Because it's a DC current pool. It's pulling current from the AC, from the air conditioning, to the inverter. All that current's going to the inverter to run the microwave. So it's going to happen. It's not that big a deal. It's what you do in RVs. It's nothing to turn the air conditioning on for a few minutes and run your microwave, kick it back on. It's okay. It's all good. That's just what it is. That's the things you not really have to deal with. It's just protocol in RVs and vans and stuff. You living in an RV is a little bit different than living in your house. But if you notice in your house, when your AC or heat kicks on, there's a current draw. Your lights may flicker a little bit or bump, may not, or if you're running something else, you'll feel that there's a shift in the current, because it'll slow down. If you're running a microwave and your air conditioner kicks on in your house, it's a current pool. It's all drawing off from similar current from your breaker box. So, not to get technical, most of y'all understand that, and some of y'all know that even more than me. So. But I'll tell you, man, it's where I live. It still isn't like cold. We have some nights that get in the 40s. Not really needing heat, which is good. But it gets up to 75 or so. I turn the AC on here just to keep this room comfortable around 70, 75. And you would think that's crazy, because some of y'all are probably living where there's snow on the ground right now. It is what it is. So, be it that it may, all is well. I gotta see about the cushions. That's my next thing on this van, is my cushions. And just gonna decide whether I want swivel seats right yet in this thing. Depends on how long I'm gonna keep the van. I've contemplated going back to RV, but not sure on that deal. What I'd love to do is whether I would go back to RV and split the divvy and maybe go buy a lot somewhere, or a little small piece of land, like an acre or so outside of the area here, and set it up. And I've got an idea. I really want to set up something cool and have a little home base. And then I got my RV. I can go back and forth and pretty much do what I want to do with. That would be so cool. I can set it up with a lot of solar, propane, and power, or whatever I need. I'd love to make it totally off-grid. That would be cool, where the propane could heat it, and I could maybe get like a generator and have propane drive it and just let it run the AC off and on in the summer, and the heat and hot water and cooking or whatever I decide to do in the winter all year long. So have a lot of solar and a battery bank, and have all that set up to where all I gotta do is just plug it in. And maybe, I've always been fascinated with wanting to build a shipping container home. I think it's so cool. And depending on what I decide to do, I got to sit down and kind of draw up my idea of what I want to do, and just see what all that'll cost. Not really sure. I mean, it'll be cool whatever I decide to do. Now I have to figure out just what I want to do, whether I just want to have the lot and just put an RV on it, or I can probably put a small modular built home on it. Almost being like a mobile home, but it's not a mobile home. It'd be a lot nicer. Something like a little small tiny house would be cool, and just have it powered and set ready to go. So choices. Just really trying to figure out what I want to do, but really have this to be able to travel and kind of do both, and have a good RV to travel, or some sort of an overland type vehicle. There's a lot of people that have a custom SUV or a van like this. It's like overland, and they travel in it, like living full time in it. And then they have a home base, which I think is cool. So yeah, you're gonna end up having to think about those things if you're going RV full time. Think about that big time, because there's a lot to think about. You know, you say you want to cut the cord and go full time RV. I mean, I don't regret selling my condo and all my furniture and everything and just minimalizing and do it. I love this. I will tell you, I love it. Now, is it for everybody? Probably not. You know, like I said in a video a while back, I've said this before, go watch a video. I talk quite a bit about some things to think about if you want to get into RVing or van life. Think about what you're willing to live with, what you're willing to not live with. You know, it's just one of those things that if you don't think you can live in a space this small, other than just like a weekend out, you know, and you may not want to do it. And some people will tell me, why don't you just rent one or an RV and do it for a while and see if you like that's what you want to do, you know. And I didn't do that. I went full gusto with it. And I don't regret it, because it worked for me. I loved it. I knew I loved it from day one. I thought it was so cool. And then I knew I just wanted to go to van life when I went to the Tiny Fest Northwest in Oregon last summer. Not this past summer, but the summer before last of 2019. Right then and there, I knew I was wanting to do this. It was so cool. So it was just something about it. You know, I just love it, you know. And I don't care. I love spaces like this, and you can convert the space however you want, you know. I said time and time again, I need more desk space, and I would like more open room, just a little bit, but I can turn my counter space here, see the top on that, all that can be workspace. I can turn my bench, sorry, I got clothing and a bunch of stuff I got to put away. I can remove the cushions once I get them, and this bench, I've got a seat, sits right here, like I've shown before. I can turn that into a desk space. It's real cool, man. I can do a lot of stuff here. I can get a swivel seat over here and maybe figure out how to put a lagoon mount table. But the thing is, I got to store that lagoon mount, and is there room in here for a good sized lagoon mount table? You can't keep it out all the time if you got to get in and out here. So choices. The thing about RV is I had a table set up, and I had a setup where everything was mounted on this little, it was so cool, and I would do it again. I had this little board mounted with some hooks for the speakers and Velcro, and everything was on there, and I had my workspace. Never moved, man. It never slid. And it was so cool. The thing about that RV, though, is I had a bench on the other side I never really used. It just wasn't enough open space in it, you know. I like the open space to where you've got a little long couch or maybe a table to do it, and you can convert both. Or just having that a better table setup. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but Winnebago's got a new RV coming out called the Echo. It's the Winnebago Echo. I would go check that thing out. It is unbelievably cool. It's going to be expensive, I think. The storage is amazing. It's got the same style of storage as that Coachman Crosstrek that's so cool and so affordable. I thought about going to the Coachman Crosstrek. I could do some upgrades in it, put a little money in it. It'd be so cool. It doesn't have a generator. And I would upgrade the AGMs to lithium batteries, put a new charge controller in, and the storage in it is unbelievable. And I would have everything there, and I'd have an open space for a really cool table. But that Echo is so cool, man. It really is. The table set up with the chairs, I think it's sharp. It really is. That's a nice. And that, and the new Winnebago is just a few inches wider than a ProMaster van. It's on a Ford Transit chassis, and the length is exactly the same as their Bolt, which is a Sprinter van. It's only 21 feet long, and it is nice. It really is. They knocked that one out the park. So that is due to come out 2021 sometime. And probably one of the first people are going to get it, because I think what they're going to do, they're like ambassadors for Winnebagos. If you ever watch that channel, The Fit RV, James and Stephanie, they're actually very nice people. I've talked to her on the on Facebook, messaging back and forth a little bit. I was in Salt Lake last summer, and she was telling me some cool places to go eat and stuff. Really nice people. They do, I'm going to tell you, they probably hands down do the best RV reviews, because they're just very intuitive, and I like how they'll sit and they'll narrate what they're doing. No sound in the video. I think it's very cool. I like how they do that, but go check that one out. But there are just a million and one choices if you want to get into van life and build your own anymore. There's gobs of choices, the type of RV. I mean, I'd literally consider maybe going travel trailer and having an SUV overland type vehicle where I could take short trips with that. And if I was going long trips, staying somewhere, just take the trailer and go park it for a while. But that's going to entail paying rent in an RV park, and here it's a bit pricey. I think they hit you $650 a month or so for rent a month at a nice RV park here, and Charleston's a bit more expensive than national average. They really are. So just not going to pull the trigger on that. I've got a buddy of mine, I've stayed out there several times, stays at an RV park here. He lives full time in his. He loves it, and like I say, he's paying about $650 a month rent on his. And do you really want to go back to do that? If you went to van life, you wanted to try to get away from all that, and kind of be more nomadic, cut the cord from your typical renting and stuff. But yeah, it's an RV park. I can stay in RV parks in this thing, really do what I want to do on that deal. So, but anyway, I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna pick on my guitar a little bit, watch a little TV, and hit the sack. But got a lot of cool stuff done this week on the van. I got more to do, and looking to take a trip here after Thanksgiving here for a few days. So I'm hoping to do that here next week or two. It's going to be pretty cool. I've got to kind of sit down and map it out. So I still have my list of the 50 coolest small towns in America, and I've hit quite a bit of them, but I got a lot I want to see. So I'm going to look to see if there are any in Florida maybe I've missed. Check those off my list. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next video. And as I always say, and I haven't said it in a while, if something cool comes along, you know I'll cut you in. Be cool. Bye.